Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez engaged in her first ever line of questioning at an oversight committee. And this was about the rising cost of pharmaceuticals, where she put patients over profits. Watch.
Would it be correct, Dr. Kessel Haim, to characterize the NIH money that is being used in development and research as an early investment?
Yes.
So the public is acting as an early investor in the production of these drugs. Is the public receiving any sort of direct return on that investment from the highly profitable drugs that are developed from that research?
No, in most cases, there isn't. When those products are eventually handed off to a for-profit company, there aren't licensing deals that bring money back into the coffers of the NIH. That usually doesn't happen. So
the public is acting as early investor, putting tons of money in the development of drugs that then become privatized, and then they receive no return on the investment that they have made.
Right.
So once again, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez showcases why she is so important to this conversation. She's able to break down this fairly complicated process in this line of questioning, and while she's doing that, she is standing up for the best interests of people over the best interests of private corporations. So in this instance, she's talking about the issue where these drug companies, they make tons of money off pharmaceuticals. A lot of the research done for them to be able to make those pharmaceuticals, that research is done by the government, meaning that taxpayer money, your money, is going to the research to create these pharmaceuticals, but then these pharmaceutical companies acquire that research, turn around, and then sell that drug at incredible cost to the consumer. So even though you are subsidizing the research of these drugs, you are not seeing any benefit to it. So let me read a little bit more about this from the Washington Post. What's more, while taxpayers are largely footing the bill for drug research, pharmaceuticals are reaping all the gains. Sofosbuvir, which treats hepatitis C, emerged from over 10 years of U.S. taxpayer-funded research through the Department of Veterans Affairs and the National Institutes of Health. But when the private biotech company Gilead Sciences later acquired the drug, it priced a 12-week course of pills at $84,000 in the U.S. market. By the end of 2017, Sofosbuvir had generated over $50 billion in sales. Sofosbuvir is not an exception. The U.S. taxpayer has funded research for every single one of the 210 new drugs that the FDA approved between 2010 and 2016. Yet the companies that have access to this research are increasingly viewing pharmaceuticals in the same way that banks view their financial product, opportunities for short-term returns. So this is a massive issue in the healthcare industry. Profits over patients. The idea that these private companies can make these incredible profits off of the back of sick people, like charging people $84,000 US for a 12-week course of pills. How do you defend that? Now, another half of this, another part of this in their ability to be able to charge that sort of exorbitant fees for these pharmaceuticals is their ability to patent these products. So not only do they acquire this research from the government that you helped to create, they acquire this research, create the pill, and then put a 10-year patent on it. So for the next 10 years, they have full control over the cost of that drug in the market. There is no competition at all. This is disgusting. And the only reason this is able to happen is because these healthcare companies are in the pockets of Washington, of most members of Congress, of most senators. So to have someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is completely separate from any big money, she simply runs on a grassroots movement and small individual donations, to have people like this in Washington speaking up for actual people over the interests of private profits is incredibly important and will hopefully lead to some changes down the line.